Hey everyone, Tin Man here to discuss the massive patch that just came out last night for Artifact. This patch addresses so many of the community concerns and shows the new development mindset that Valve has towards the game. In this patch, they implemented a skill ranking system, an account progression system to earn free packs and tickets, and card balancing. Valve has previously stated that they wanted to avoid card balancing due to the marketplace, but luckily they've come over to their senses and realized that it's a primary advantage of a digital card game is to be able to instantly and easily balance cards to ensure the health of the game. So let's hop right into some of the card balance changes. First off, we've got Axe. His base stats are down from 7 to 11 to 6 to 10. Now this is a welcome change. Axe was just too far ahead of the curve of every other hero. He was an auto-include in every red deck and just too meta-defining. Unfortunately, I think he is still an auto-include in every red deck. His signature card, Berserker's Call, is just too potent, and his stats are still well above other red heroes. But it should feel a bit more reasonable to play against him when you're playing other colors. Since some notable interactions that have changed, Bounty Hunter and Axe now trade over 2 turns, rather than Axe just killing Bounty in one swing. Axe no longer one-shots Ogre Magi, Drow Ranger, and Zeus, 3 very popular heroes, although he still wins combat over 2 turns. Overall, I view this change more as a slight buff to other colors rather than a massive nerf to red. Still play Axe, he's still the best red hero, but he just won't be quite as dominant as other heroes as before. Bloodseeker. Base stats are up from 7-6 to a 7-7. His signature spell, Blood Rage, has also had its mana cost reduced from 5 down to 4. This is a small change to a fairly unplayable hero. I don't expect him to be a meta pick and constructed anytime soon, but this might make him a bit more reasonable in draft. I will say that I think he has the potential to be constructed playable, but the support staff just isn't there. Perhaps when the next set is released, we'll see the Bloodseeker's potential come out. Cheating Death. Mana cost changed from 5 down to 4. It's been completely reworked. The old text gave allies a 50% chance of living when you had a green hero in the lane. Now it's an active with cooldown 1 and gives a death shield to a unit this round, only if you have an allied green hero in this lane. Finally. This change is amazing. We no longer have to have the daily Reddit threads about how stupid of a card design the old Cheating Death was. The old version was always frustrating for one player. If you were on the good end of it, you felt great. If you were on the bad end of it, you felt terrible. Somebody was always unhappy when Cheating Death was in play. The new version is much more predictable and can be played around using initiative. That being said, I still think it's a great card. Not quite as meta-defining as before, but still a solidly playable card. If you play it and it goes unanswered in a lane, you will win that lane by able to keep a key unit alive every turn. Guaranteed. So look for this card to still be played quite a bit, but just won't be as frustrating as before. The next big change, Drow Ranger. Signature card Gust. The text now changed to say, silence an enemy hero and its allied neighbors this round. This is a huge nerf to Gust, and makes things like Celemony combo much more interactive. No longer can they just play the Gust and completely blank any interaction you have. If you have multiple heroes in the lane, they can't always silence them all, and you still have some options to interact. This is huge, because the old Gust was just uninteractive and made unfun situations for the player who just can't play the game. In some cases, the new version of Gust will still be identical to the old one, so I don't anticipate her dropping out of the meta entirely, and I don't think she'll be an auto-include in every green deck, though. Between Drow and Axe, Drow Ranger definitely got nerfed much harder than Axe did. Jasper Daggers. Gold cost reduced from 7 down to 5, and it also gained the line of text, Equip Effect, purge your opponent's effects from equipped hero. This card is now insanely good, and it should be played in every item deck, probably as a one of, maybe more. Previously, it was just overcosted for its Pierce effect, which is still a good keyword to have with all the big red heroes running around, but not for 7 gold. Now at 5 gold, much more reasonable. But wait, there's more. We also have the Purge effect from opposing effects. Things like Drow Ranger's now nerfed Silence, Tidehunter's Stun, Bristleback's Nasal Goo, Bounty Hunter's Track, or the debuff from Routed. There are tons of possibilities for this card to get rid of an annoying effect from your opponent. Even if the Purge effect is not great, which it is in many matchups, it's now a much more reasonable rate for Pierce, rather. At 5 gold for Pierce. So I definitely think this will be a meta-defining card going forward, and you should definitely play one in your item decks, and maybe even more if you run up against a lot of those type of debuff effects. Next, Lion. His active was changed to add the Quicken keyword to it. Quicken means to reduce the cooldown by 1, but not below 1. So this basically means his old keyword was on his old active was on a 4-turn cooldown. After you use it, it becomes a 3-turn cooldown, and then 2, and then 1. The problem is that this is unlikely to improve Lion's prospect as the worst black hero. His stats are still just too low, and his card doesn't do much by itself. By the time you benefit from the additional cooldown reduction, the game's probably over. That's fairly late into the game. So I don't see him changing much in draft or constructed, but it is a cool mechanic that I'm glad exists, and I can't wait to see it on other cards. Outworld Devour. Base stats are up from 4-6 up to 4-7. Small change to the worst blue hero, still unplayable. Main problem is his erratic passive and his very lackluster card. Compared to other blue heroes with good passives and good cards, but only marginally worse stats like Zeus, I see no reason to play Outworld Devourer in draft or constructed. Timbersaw. Reactive armor now also says Timbersaw's attackers have -1 armor. Now that's a pretty good change. Timbersaw is still probably not going to break through into constructed, but I still see him being appealing in draft. The buff is welcome to help him actually brawl with other heroes more effectively. His signature card is still quite poor, so I'm not really happy to have him, but at least he's better than Keith now, I suppose. The other two changes involved a skill progression system and account level. The skill rating goes up from 1 to 75 based on your wins in match-made games, but it does not go down if you lose. It's like a threshold. Once you reach a new rating, you keep it. I imagine it still uses a behind-the-scenes rating that goes up and down, so that if you do lose, it'll be harder to climb to the next rating, but I'm not entirely sure about that. It's also time-based, so it resets every season. This is a good middle ground between no progression at all and the grindy, soul-crushing ladder like Hearthstone. There's no anxiety about the rankings going down by playing ranked, and you can increase it by playing and winning in casual or in expert play modes. They've also added an account level feature where you gain experience and unlock cosmetic rewards as well as free packs and tickets just by playing the game. This is a huge benefit to casual players, and the game still isn't truly full to play or free to play because you still need to pay the $20 to buy it, but you can grind free packs and tickets over time with this system. I think this will go a long way to helping attract and retain new players. Great update, Valve. You really listened to the community feedback and implemented fixes quickly. I'm happy to see it, and I'm extremely optimistic about the future of this amazing game. Thanks so much for this update, and thanks so much for watching, and look forward to seeing the new meta. See ya.